This week on Media Delta, part 2 of our look at the Pirates of Dark Water. And just like the Maelstrom, Hanna-Barbera looms ever so presently over the horizon and this set. Hello and welcome to another episode of Media Delta. So today we are actually continuing where we left off 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, we took a look at the first 5/6 episodes of Pirates of Dark Water, a Hanna-Barbera cartoon that had some pretty interesting things behind it. And basically, it was a Hanna-Barbera cartoon that had a budget. Also, some interesting design choices that kind of made it kind of a cult classic. Um, the thing is, though, is that as we kind of went over quite in detail the first episode, the first 5 episodes had a production where they were actually they shipped out the episodes to kind of some pretty high quality studios. But when they got that initial season slash first 5 episodes done, they realized that they had to make much more. And then basically they had it shipped out to another studio that was kind of notorious for getting things done cheap, but also with maybe not the highest quality. So we're taking a look actually at a series of 6 of those episodes. Um, the episodes in particular that we are taking a look at should have this ready. That's wrong thing. Are I always forget how to is Panacea?
Panacea.
Okay, Panacea, the Little Leviathan, the Dagran Master, Sister of the Sword, the Soul Stealer, and Living Treasure. Those last 3 happen to be the last 3 episodes of the series. With the first 3 being picked apart from the. This is usually considered 3 seasons, but those first 3 are kind of random throughout the second season. And I was not the only one who watched this, so please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm X, and I don't have something funny to say.
Hi, I'm Torpid Typist, and I am here for greatly decreased quality.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, the studio that did these episodes were kind of notorious for not being of the highest standards, but
Well,
they're
the issue is this is the Switchin' Studios.
Yeah.
yeah.
This is when they switched over to the really awful one.
Yeah, which
was-
I think we saw it in the 6th
we
episode
mentioned, yeah, I think we talked about it.
I
but I'm
believe
not
we did.
Sure.
Because I know we focused a lot on those first 5 episodes, but we did watch the 6th one that yeah, you can start to tell that maybe it was definitely a different studio that did this one.
Yeah, because at
So
this point, Hanna-Barbera had established a studio in I forget exactly which country it was. Somewhere in
the
Southeast.
Philippines. I
Yeah, it was the
believe.
Philippines.
And it is significantly lower quality than what they had been working with up to that point.
I
Yeah.
think the studio was called Phil's.
Yes.
I think
Phil's
so.
Animation.
I kept on wanting to think Flip Flab, but that's definitely not it.
I was thinking something with a W, but then we remember Philippines, so.
Yep, Phil Cartoons Cartoons Inc. is according to Wikipedia the studio that did this. They are located in Manila. But yeah, unfortunately, they are not well known for producing high quality stuff. I believe they worked a lot with Hanna-Barbera, is I believe what we kind of discussed last episode or 2 weeks ago. So yeah, I guess we probably should just go ahead and get started with our questions. So, Max, what's your general impressions of these sets of episodes?
I mean, it visually it's not that great. I wouldn't say it sucks, but it definitely takes a dive from the first 5 episodes, first season. But I still think that it holds up as a cartoon. I still enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed each of the episodes except for I would say Little Leviathan and Panacea for fairly obvious reasons. They just
Yeah.
had their characters that they introduce are obnoxious and annoying. But yeah, overall, I still think it's a solid show in spite of the change in studio, the lower in quality, it's still an enjoyable experience.
Okay. Is there anything in particular you want to call out?
I want to call out a thing that needs to die out in cartoons forever, and that is bringing on really annoying, side characters. Just stop. We don't need
I
them.
mascot characters also should be fucking deleted, in my opinion.
Yeah. Um, Probably a good rule of thumb is if you're getting Frank Welker to voice it for doing sound effects, you probably should really rethink about whether or not you really need them in that show. Because there were two cases that I can think of in this set of episodes where it was very clearly the same voice actor doing the sounds for this strange creature, whatever it was.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really great listening to Frank Welker talk to Frank Welker multiple times.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, look, I don't blame the man. He's very good at one very specific thing, but the problem is that specific thing is fucking awful.
The thing is that it's like is it Andy Serkis is the guy that's known for doing the
Mocap.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like he's kind of pigeonholed into that kind of like he also, I mean, granted, I should also say of Frank Welker, he can do a whole lot of other voices. But he also does have a knack for doing really irritating small creatures.
Yeah. Like just the entirety of his performance in The Little Leviathan was annoying, just to the point where I almost turned off the episode because I couldn't stand listening to the damn thing whine on and on.
Yeah.
But
And
that kind of stuff just needs to go away.
yeah, also that is something that I will definitely be bringing up later on.
Mhm.
Also I'm looking like is that the also I'm just looking at the voices and apparently Harlan Ellison did a voice in one episode,
Huh.
which that's a thing.
Yeah, but fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Harlan Ellison?
Yeah. Like the science fiction writer.
Yeah, I have no mouth on him. Why do we hate him?
He's kind of an asshole.
A huge asshole.
Ah.
Yeah. Trying to think.
What were the episodes that we watched again?
So Panacea, the Little Leviathan, the Dagran Master, Sister of the Sword, the Soul Stealer, and the Living Treasure. Yeah. So is there anything else specifically you want to go over, Max?
I mean, not really. We could go over like the general idea of each episode, but I think we can cover that as we go through.
Yeah, I was gonna say also, I think that's probably what we'll do with the next set of episodes. Or
Yeah.
not next set of episodes, next question. So Torpo, what are your general impressions of this set of episodes?
Oh boy. I do not feel the same way as Axe.
I'm shocked. Shocked, I tell you.
Look, I agree. The first season was good. I will never dispute that. That was actually quite good. Both production and the writing was actually quite enjoyable, even if breakneck. There was a considerable slide on both fronts. To start with, I will say the animation took a massive dip. The colors are generally less vibrant. There's a fuckload of animation errors. There are points where they don't even try to lip sync at all. And there's just so many fucking problems in the animation. It's frustrating.
The one thing I definitely want to call out is there's just some frames of animation that just look kind of goofy. Like they're not necessarily errors, just look really weird.
I actually, after our discussion, Torpid, I kind of went back and I watched a couple of the episodes, including the re-upload of Panacea, and I actually started noticing. I noticed a couple. I noticed and especially in Panacea.
Did you see the one where Ren doubles up?
Yes, that's exactly the one. He's just standing there for a moment, and then he just another part of him appears right behind him.
It's really great because especially since at least the way that I was watching is like I have it on my a relatively big monitor and that's relatively close. So I was just looking at it, it's like did something just break on my monitor? Why is there two? Oh, there's two of them. It's great because also since it's VLC, I could go back later and frame skip or just frame advance, just go frame by frame by frame.
Yeah.
and you can definitely see it. Also, I can tell them that DVD they have some really weird frame blending, but that's not a problem with the show. That's a problem with the DVD set. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, um,
And occasionally, it's like the eyes will be in a different position than the mouth.
Yeah. Also, largely they did not color in the whites of the eye after the first season.
yeah, it's like Ren constantly has a case. Actually, now that I think about it, they extremely rarely use the color white.
Yes.
Like, it was almost like they had an ink shortage on white.
I felt in general it was less vibrant than the first season, though. Like, there's a lot more
Yeah.
greens and browns.
Well, if you watch the intro is still from the first season. So the intro has a lot of brightness to it, and it shows that Hanna-Barbera high quality with the jank that we talked about. But then when you get into the actual episode, you see how it's a little darker, a little bit less,
More
you know.
muted.
Yeah, exactly. So it's funny because you have an immediate point of comparison between the two styles.
It's the jank with the jank.
Yeah, it's just jank.
Also, yeah, just in general, a lot of things moved really weird. And the problem is, like, I have a very good eye for these things. So when they happen, I immediately notice, and it confuses people when I say, go back.
Because it was like I was watching it on my own and just like, God, something is really weird about this set of things. Also, I really wish that just another point of thing about the DVD set that's just kind of annoying is that the discs were not consistent in the way that they had the data on the disc. I know that is something that no one else would normally notice unless they are building a Plex server, but nonetheless, for some reason, the second disc is in a different format than all the other discs.
It's also a thing too. Like, this is maybe me just nitpicking at this point, but I feel like the designs in general were less interesting than the first seasons, and they just kind of get to be really ugly and gross.
It seems like because in one of the episodes that the guy from the gambling hall shows up in a later episode, and he noticeably looks much different and incredibly pink.
He looks like a fucking boiled lobster. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like it's not even that like he's tan or anything. He just looks
He's
pink.
bright fucking pink. Like, he's got the worst sunburn you've ever seen.
This thing's not even like a sunburn. He just looks sick.
But,
He looks like he was boiled.
there's just so many like weird and gross designs, in my opinion. Like, fucking, what was it, Panacea, which is a blur in my mind, and I barely remember most of it. I just distinctly fucking remember the biotransmuters, various projects, and also the weird thing that Ren had to keep in a giant wine glass.
Yeah. Like, I think the thing with Panacea, though, that I will give it credit, though, is that it is probably one of the more unique storylines of these six. Outside of maybe,
Yeah, that was an issue I was also going to talk about.
yeah, I think we should probably talk about that next question, though.
Yeah, that's a whole different beast. But yeah, so like obviously visually there is a notable decline in quality, like very distinctively, and I do feel like the writing was a lot more hack. Though we'll get into that with the next question. I do felt it felt like it lost its way after the first season, because the first season was very good, also very focused, which I feel worked in its favor.
Yeah. Like, there is something that I will say, like, especially about the story wise, that is talking about the story writing, is that it feels like Aya's constantly goes, like, as character progression goes back, it just keeps on going back on being like just a shithead.
Uh,
Like, especially towards women.
yeah, I know Ren's just kind of there. He sort of is stripped what little personality he had to begin with, which is kind of a shame. He's just generic hero boy. Uh, and God, Tula is. I mentioned it to Axe. I've mentioned it to Lolo. My feelings of what happens to Tula, and giving her magic powers was the worst possible thing they could have done, because she ends up just being the girl who's a plot device. Like that's her whole personality. Is she has magic as the plot needs, but barely exists outside of that.
Yeah.
Outside of like one of the episodes, I think the last episode that was in the list, the final
Yep.
episode, Pirates of Darkwater, where she pretended to betray them. And Ayaz and Ren, well, Ayaz in particular is a fucking idiot who, because she's done this before to get something she needed, like pretend to betray them. But Ayaz like, I knew I couldn't trust that woman. Just the whole fucking time kicking and screaming about it, as if there has been no trust developed by any of these crew members despite how long they've gone on for.
Yeah.
As if he didn't know her tricks already and hadn't seen them.
Yeah.
And there he is, like, that Tula, the woman, Nanjitat, or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Congolungo!
Yeah.
They have a lot of fake swears, and they're all really fucking stupid. Like, Nanjitat is one I could see being a thing, though it gets a lot more use as the series goes on, but then they add new ones, like Congolungo.
Also, much to the disappointment, they weren't in fact calling, or Bluff was not in fact calling people smooth brains, which was really weirdly prescient. It's what, small brain or something like that?
Smool.
Yeah.
Smool brain.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I still think all of their fake swears are
So like
hilarious.
Nanjitat, I could actually 100% get behind. That one worked for me. That one made sense and it functioned.
Chungolungo.
Chungolungo is so bad though.
Chungolungo is great. I will not have you badmouth Chungolungo.
It's great in the context they were definitely not going for, is the thing.
Chungus Lungus.
Which, yes, that is a word that you would imagine like Ned Flanders saying, and it's funny, not anyone trying to be threatening.
Or I also didn't care for like the weird variations on non-Jitat, like that Jitatan woman.
Yeah.
It just didn't quite work as well because the other one was like.
See, the problem also with that is that when you're dealing with a fantasy universe, you don't know if that's actually a descriptor of something that they just kind of have made up, or if it's actually just trying to be one of their fake swears.
Yeah. I still maintain that Nanjitat is holy shit.
Probably.
Really, because it comes off as more like son of a bitch to me. Like, it's an exclamation of like intense frustration.
It's a very
it's essentially yelling fuck,
which would make sense with like the Jitatan woman. Also, that would make sense.
He's staring at the mast. Fuck. Shit.
Like,
fuck.
It's great as you saying that because there's someone driving down my street just constantly blaring the horn. Like, I'm just imagining, like, what the hell was that?
Well, it's just like Nanjitat.
It is the fun thing about living on a relatively busy street.
Fun in quotation marks.
Yes. What were we talking about?
We were talking about how great the swears are.
Yes.
But yeah, no. So there's that. God, the Tula thing frustrates me so much. Chungalunga.
I love it. It's stupid and it's great.
It's like Chungalungo.
See, the problem that I was thinking is I just in my head, we'll be singing. Okay.
But it's just all around kind of frustrating after seeing how good and promising the first season was.
Yep. I have a feeling it's going to be the same thing that when we were doing the first season of Ninja Turtles, because I think that's also a similar scenario, but we have not gone to that, and I'm afraid that it's going to be a very similar thing.
It's also just really good because the show just ends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the living... no, we'll talk about that more later. But also, I wanted to point out, and correct me if I'm wrong, Lolo, but this is actually the first time in a while that we've done the second part of a planned 2-part Media Delta.
Yeah.
I
because we've had a bunch of them that were just bad enough
I
that you
so
canceled the second one.
I would say that because I think the ones that we've done. Well, the thing with Turtles was that was more of the case where it was like, oh, there's like 20 episodes that I gotta pick like 6 of. I am going to that probably is not the best case use of our time. Probably not best um well, no, because I think it was going to be like I forgot exactly how I did it, but yeah, it was going to be like there's a lot more than I could pick from, so we just did a movie, and then was it Saddam that we? It's the first Western one that I can think of that we did both. So I think Saddam we canceled.
Yeah,
Saturday
Saddam,
canceled.
Saddam, you canceled because
I
you
think
guys
this is
couldn't
actually the first
take it.
one to date that we
Oh
have done
no,
both.
I take that back. Because Parappa the Rapper also was a case, so that was
Yeah,
Japanese
no,
one.
this is the first one to date that we have done both
Nope,
of them. I'm pretty sure.
Cobra.
Cobra, yes, but
Ah.
because we were super into Cobra.
Yeah, that one's a bit of a ringer, but yes.
Yeah.
We got so fucking into Cobra.
Yeah. Yeah. But yes, to prove that point, yes, this is the first one that we've actually stuck around, which is saying
And it's
something.
interesting seeing this second set compared to the first set, honestly.
Yeah.
There's such a stark contrast.
Yeah, I was trying to think of like what was the case for Legend of Zelda, but I think Legend of Zelda that was a replacement for something.
Zelda, we did in one
Yeah,
go.
we did all one go.
Yeah, we did all in one go, but that I think we did that. I did that to replace something because technically we could have done the whole series, but nonetheless, yeah, this is probably
Oh yeah.
the first one that we've done, if at all, in quite a while that we've actually sat through 2 parts. So that is something in its favor.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. It's good enough that it merited coming back and seeing what became of it. It's really disappointing to
Deeply
see.
frustrating. It makes me sad. Like I don't even have the nostalgia going for me. Like this is my first time seeing all of it, and it just frustrates me because there's so
Yeah.
much potential wasted.
I mean, I still
Yeah.
stand by it. I still think it holds up, but
See,
Yeah,
I would
it falls apart.
Yeah.
I would say almost just remake the entire thing, but have it be incredibly focused and just have them go through
Yeah.
all of it in one season, 2 at most.
Yep.
I could see this being a 2-season remake.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
What about you, Lolo?
Yeah. So my thoughts on it were basically like, yeah, it's like the thing with me watching it, it's like it was the thing that I was like trying to mentally compare it to like what am I comparing it to? And the thing with this that I felt is that this Pirates of Dark Water felt kind of the same way, like because as I mentioned, I'm comparing to other things in my head. Like it's that same kind of feeling I had a little bit when we were watching Saddam. Like it's the thing of like, okay, the protagonists are actually technically competent. The adversary is also technically competent, with the exception of like his sidekick. But even then, they're still still get the things they want to do done sometimes. And
okay, so I will say quick about the adversary. I'd argue he's too competent because he just fucking appears.
So I don't know if that's competence or just kind of, very convenient writing.
I also say he was much more competent in the first season, and he just kind of becomes a general fucking cartoon villain.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that they can't have him win or else the series is done.
Yeah, exactly. And it's frustrating because he was incredibly competent initially. He was genuinely threatening and frightening. And then
Yeah.
he's just a fucking goofball.
Yeah. So yeah, it also I really feel weird about shows like not weird, it's not the thing, but it's something just kind of bugs me about shows that have very elaborate backstories that need a lot of things like it's like there's an XKCD comic that I always kind of think of when I like do fantasy worlds. Let me see if I can find it. Which basically it's just the problem that I have a lot of thing. Yeah, because it's the XKCD comic fiction rule of thumb, which is basically basically it's a chart, it's a line graph that basically one axis is probability that a book is good, the other axis is number of words made up by the author, and the description is like, yeah, the elders of the elders of Frost guarded the farmlings, which are children, with their chrysoses, which are like swords but cooler, well, awesomer. But that's the point. Is that basically there's a lot of things that you could use probably other words, or it's like you have like a alternative, but you're just trying to be cool by having it have some fictional name. There's something about that that always bugs me.
Okay, but what about the Dagron, where they just switched a couple letters from Dragon Hint?
I still say that is someone accidentally mistyped or misspelled dragon, and they're like, let's just go with that.
They just fucking committed to it, yeah.
But yeah, there's just something always about that, about like fantastical worlds, about that just kind of bugs me, and that's a very personal thing, I will fully admit. There are definitely some admirable things about like the setting of all this, but you need to be really on your game to do that well for me. And as we've kind of mentioned, kind of didn't hit it. But there are still plenty of things admirable that I find about it. It's just the fact that with them being kind of competent, it's also kind of boring. Because it is the thing, like especially Ren in particular. Ren's somewhat boring, but especially because like I'm looking at the list of things, like especially comparing it to like Link from the Legend of Zelda cartoon or like Sonic, like I still feel like I would prefer someone like Ren.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So that was like the only character that it really annoyed me was kind of Ayaz, and even that's in just certain episodes when he's just written to be an asshole.
Not Niddler.
I forget my mind. Okay, I kind of forgot about Niddler because I think like it's a snarf. It's like
Okay.
it's that mascot character that just kind of yeah.
Oh, also, the final episode really fucking highlighted how much I hate Niddler, because he sat out of the entire fucking plot because he was too busy eating melons in some fruit merchant ship that he stowed away on.
Yeah. Also, like the little Leviathan, like him just being mad because oh no, someone ate my stash of melons. Like that is his one note kind of thing, and him just being kind of semi helpful at times, at most maybe. Like it's just the we need a mascot character for some reason.
Or that time that he switched bodies, him and Ren switched bodies with the
Bloth,
villains, yeah, Bloth and whoever the fucking
Tim
gremlin
Curry,
was.
Kronk.
Kronk, yeah.
It was Conk.
he-
Kronk
Kronk.
is
Kronk
is Emperor's
Yeah.
New
Kronk
Groove.
is good. Kronk I love with all of my heart.
Kronk
Yes,
is great, and that's
Kronk
Patrick
must be
Warburton.
protected at all cost.
Kronk is the goodest boy.
Conk is
a
not.
piece of shit.
Conk sucks.
Yeah.
Kronk
And
always sucks.
Conk doesn't get used quite as much in these later episodes.
No, he was once again first season actually very competent. He did his job quite well.
sneaky
and
and devious.
Yeah. And in this he just kind of gets treated like dog shit and thrown into the pit repeatedly.
Yeah.
But like when Niddler changed places with him, he was still fucking annoying and useless.
Yeah, he didn't really get much use or speaking time.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of my thoughts on this set, is that it's a lot of wasted potential in my opinion.
100%.
But yeah. So one thing especially, the thing that kind of annoyed me about this particular set of episodes is actually what we'll talk about next. So Torpo, how'd you feel about the stories of these sets of episodes?
Oh, lordy. So I mentioned before I felt there was a sharp decline in writing. Because like the first season, a lot happened, things kept moving, it was very focused. And in this season, they just kind of fell back on all the classic fucking tropes. Like, we're talking shit like the Freaky Friday episode. We got your fucking... Oh god, what was the other? We got the babysitting the baby episode. We got the You Meet the Amazons episode. That's exactly as terrible as you'd think it would be, I might add. It's fucking awful, and it's the last episode.
Yeah.
So
You-
bad!
We got this. Oh, hey, it's weird. This very militant women thing led by Tress McNeil.
It's true, it was led by Tress McNeil, right?
So blatantly
it-
It was so great. I was like, Tress McNeil.
I was like, yeah, I know that voice. It's
Thank
that
you,
voice
future
that's in every '90s cartoon. I feel at home. Yeah, it's. I was trying to think. Like, yeah, you got the Freaky Friday episode. I was trying to think because what was the like? What was the like? Like as we mentioned, Panacea is like the one that's actually like not like, oh, it's that episode. And
And yet somehow it's still very uncomfortable.
the
There was the Dagger episode, but that was
that one
also the main character gets turned into a beast episode.
Oh right, yeah, that's what the plot of that one was.
Yeah.
You could also say that the Sister of the Sword was kind of almost a trope, but that's just like a that one
Annoying
wasn't as
family
bad.
member comes in and wrecks everything. Yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
that's tropey.
It is also incredibly thirsty for Ren.
Yeah.
Aya's sister appears, and boy howdy, does she want to get into Ren's pants. Like, we're fucking thirst unreal.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that was
And that was instead of Aya's accepting the consequences of his actions, he's actually always right. And everything works out somehow.
yeah. It's yeah. Can't have because that's the other thing is that these episodes don't have any continuity on like the first 5 episodes, so nothing can kind of like except for they get Treasure Rule.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing that annoyed me about the Thirst episode, Sister of the Sword, is Tula gets really weirdly jealous despite having shown no affection for Ren up to that point.
And like
They were
doesn't show
strictly
any
friends and coworkers, and we're fine.
yeah, as I say, it didn't show anything afterwards either.
No, she's just being a dick.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say I forgot there was a point that I was gonna make. Yeah, the point that I was gonna make, they need to get a better chain on that compass. It's just always funny how they just kind of just boop, just yoink the like.
Yeah, it's like one of those shitty like breakaway chains. Yeah,
it's like it's made out of tissue paper.
just a quick tug and a pop.
Yeah. Or everyone is just absurdly strong and everyone has rope burns on their neck from it getting like ripped off.
Also, I still love the Freaky Friday episode, because they decide, yes, we'll take Ren's body and put him in ours, and then apparently don't notify their full crew, so they get away anyway.
So it's also great because about that episode because because usually when they do that kind of thing, they also swap the voice. Like the voices usually the voice usually it syndicates who is actually controlling the body. They don't do that in this one, so you have a really big face-off situation where it's really weird of like the other voice actor trying really hard to be the character that's the other character.
I want to take his off.
God,
It was fun though, hearing each of them try to be the
I enjoyed that actually.
Yeah,
they did a good job of it too.
The reason I am bringing that up because it's weird that they did it. It's like different that they did it, and it took me a little while to get used to. They didn't do a bad job, but it's also kind of that thing where you have the slight awkwardness of them trying to be the other character, which is always fun.
To be fair, it made it more convincing that other people would think they are who they are, though.
That is also true. That is one thing.
Once again, you think he would have notified his crew? What's his fucking villain's name again? I forgot it already.
Bloth.
Bloth. I think Bloth would have notified his crew. Hey, let's detain my body. don't let him out. That's not me.
Wait. Also, I just realized something.
Because they did
Continue what
detain
we
him
were
at
saying.
first, but they never notified the rest of the crew. So they just like, hey, give us one of those Dagrons. We're outie. It's like, oh, okay.
Okay, I think I just also realized something that was subconsciously annoying me about Bloth. Is that he very much looks a lot like the villain of Space Ace. If you've ever familiar with that game, the Laserdisc game,
Yeah,
um,
actually, now you mention it.
the villain name was Borf. So just it's like, oh, it's like almost there in a weird way.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
But also, I didn't realize that Don Bluth himself voiced Borf, which I thought was neat. But anyway, that's a completely different thing. But yes. Um, so yeah. Did you have anything else to say about the stories?
God, the Panacea episode was gross.
Yeah. Also, my favorite thing about the Panacea episode is they just completely is it that or the Dagran episode where Bloff just completely murks that guy at the end and you don't see anything else after that.
I think that's Panacea.
Or no, or was that
No.
or was that the Freaky Friday one?
There's a Freaky Friday one.
Yeah, because it's
Maybe?
like, oh, it's the person who someone that was like it was like a side villain that was like selling him the device that enabled the plot of the episode.
Oh, was it
And
the
it basically
Dagran episode?
Yeah, it was a Dagran
it
episode.
was a Dagran episode. Oh, right. Because at the end, Bloff just like because he relies on a tank to live, he just destroys the tank, and you just see like the leg, quote unquote, of the creature on the ground.
Oh
in the shattered
no.
thing.
That was the Freaky Friday episode. That was the Soothsayer or whatever the fuck it was.
Yes.
Right, yeah, okay. Yeah, he kicks over the tube and the brain
And-
thing.
And
Yeah,
then
okay,
the
I
episode
remember that.
just ends.
It's so fucked up. Yeah, no, someone else gets fucked up in Panacea, which is the weird fish dog thing sitting in the wine glass when they knock it over. He's like, Ren, take my life
Yeah, it's like the dude sacrificed
so you
himself to
can
save Ren.
live. He sacrifices himself by falling onto the fucking ground and flopping around.
so that the water from the wine glass could go onto Ren, who has been poisoned, I think.
And then he gets legs anyway, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it just basically the thing to get the treasure rule that it just gets legs. And there was something about that part that also was animated really weirdly, and I forgot what it was. Or what I think I might be thinking of something else, but nonetheless. But yeah. Is there any other points you want to make?
Not particularly off the top of my head, no.
All right, Axe.
So it's kind of hit and miss. Some of the episodes are actually pretty good. Some of them not quite so good. I will say, off the top of my head, I like the Freaky Friday episode. I like the Living Treasure episode. I thought those were both pretty good. But then you've got Panacea is in and of itself hit and miss because for the start of it it's all right, and then the roulette appears, and then that just kind of makes the episode kind of go downhill because it's just an annoying character. And then of course the worst one I think was the little Leviathan because of reasons we stated.
So
It's
fucking
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, if you
the
It's
entire
the
fucking
requisite
thing.
really annoying baby episode.
Yeah,
Yes.
like I didn't need it. No one needed it. No one wanted it, but it's there. But it's there's still, for the most part, with the negatives aside, there's still pretty good episodes, and it's still a pretty good show.
I still disagree with Living Treasure though. I don't like the Amazon episode.
No, I mean I don't know. I thought it was all right.
I guess I'm also bugged because it's the last episode and it's just that.
Yeah, I think that is also something that really hurts it because it's like but granted, that's also the problem with the production of the Stro is the fact that they got cut off way before their time.
Yeah.
Because they just got screwed by Hanna-Barbera, I believe. That basically is like, actually the show, we're just gonna kill it.
Yeah, and it's a fucking shame because the show ends as it is, on a very positive note with part of Octopon being brought back with the arrival of the eighth treasure, which turns out to be a living being. But I think that's the one mark against the episode that I have, is that it's the final episode. There's nothing left to go off of, and it doesn't really provide any sense of closure or anything, because it just, the whole series got cut off way too soon. But the strongest episodes actually are, in my opinion, this Sister of the Sword and the Freaky Friday one, because they had decent plots, they had good pacing, they had interesting situations for the characters to deal with, and especially the Freaky Friday one, where we talked about having the voice actors try to take over the roles of a
Oh
different
god.
character.
Also,
And-
it has a callback to the very first episode that everyone forgot about.
Mhm.
Which one was
Uh,
that?
The Freaky Friday episode. Remember the guy from the first episode whose boat they stole finally reappears
Oh right, yeah.
and loses his shit on everyone.
Right.
So I mean, overall, it's a mixed bag. But when the episodes are good, they're really good. And there's only like one really unappealing episode, like truly just a god awful, do not want to watch this again kind of episode,
Yeah.
and
Well,
that's Leviathan.
and also the thing I should mention, that the episodes that we're watching were basically done as a roll of the dice. There could have been much better episodes that we just happened to miss. So that is something probably to take aside. Or alternatively, they also could be also very bad. So
Also,
because from what we saw, as we saw the little Leviathan, they can get bad, but also they can probably be pretty good.
let me check something really quick, because I just saw something I'm pretty sure proved a point of mine in terms of writing. Yeah, so the writers who worked on the first 5 episodes,
Uh-huh.
excuse me, the first 4 episodes never appeared again.
Yeah.
They are not on any of the later episodes.
Yeah. Yep.
That's at episode 5, which is the one where they get the first treasure, which has Christina Lucky and Laren Bright. Those appear like one other time. Christina Lucky appears multiple times, but
Actually, looking at this, the thing about it is that it seems like there aren't any really consistent writers.
no, it's all over the place.
Okay, Sister of the Sword and Soul Stealer are written by the same writer, and okay,
That
then
kind of
also,
shows, yeah.
well, they also wrote, let's see, the Dark Disciples. So yeah, Glenn Leopold has written a few of these. Actually, I'm
But
curious.
like the big ones for the first few episodes, particularly Lane Reichert, who did the first 4 episodes, never appears again. Mark
Yeah.
Young and Kelly Ward don't appear again. Bill
I-
Matheny, I think, only appears one other time.
Actually, now that I think about it, I believe Glenn Leopold wrote, let's see, was involved in okay. He was involved in 4 of the ones we watched. I was gonna say because the Dagger
Glenn
Master,
Leopold is in most of them. Like, he appears the
yeah,
most out of anyone.
and Michael Moore wrote the Dagger Master, and Panacea was written by Sean
My
Roach.
point is, though,
Yeah.
the writing crew is very inconsistent, particularly past the first 4 episodes, because the first 4 episodes had a consistent writing crew, particularly Lane Reichert, who was in all 4 of them. Then there was Bill Matheny, Mark Young, and Kelly Ward. But after that, the only one of them who appears at all is Bill Matheny in 1 episode, which is The Beast and the Bell. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that actually could explain a lot.
Yeah.
I wonder if Glenn actually, yeah. I'll say if anyone has a point, I'm gonna look something up. So if anyone has any points I want to make.
Let's see.
Actually, okay. So I was looking up Glenn Leopold's IMDb, and he's worked for a lot. Like he did the Smurfs. He did a lot of episodes of Smurf.
Yeah, you
Uh,
can feel the Hanna-Barbera dripping off the guy.
Yeah. A lot of like not like the Smurfs is probably the most popular thing he did. He also worked on the Snorks. He did a few episodes of that's got to be a new Jetsons thing. Whatever Gravedale High is, and Pirates of Dark Water. He worked on SWAT Cats, which is also a thing. Real Adventures of Johnny Quest.
Another great show.
Oh, Disney's Doug, which
No, that show sucks.
No, it's got to be
Should feel
Nickelodeon.
bad.
Nickelodeon, Doug, or bust.
Even Nickelodeon Doug's still not.
I was to say
particularly good.
that is true to a point. Because also, granted, I have not seen Doug in forever.
It is better, but it's still not good.
Also, now that I think about it, I do know that there is a Doug game that exists, but it is specifically Disney's Doug. So
I would
we'll
rather
talk
not
about
be
that.
bored.
Also, I like that IMDb splits up Pirates of Dark Water into 3 seasons.
Yep. Because I think it was the first season technically was released as Dark Water, and then it became Pirates of Dark Water, and I have no idea where that season split happens, but doesn't seem like it affected much. Nonetheless, and yeah, I think I've made my points pretty clearly through, or pretty like I think I've made my points throughout both of your discussions. Basically, yeah, the thing that annoyed me about this is that a lot of these episodes were very like it was, oh, it's that episode. It's like, oh yeah, it's the Freaky Friday episode, or it's the babysitting the baby episode.
I'm the
Which,
baby, gotta love me.
man, there is a dinosaurs game. That series at least could be
No.
weirdly
Do it.
fascinating.
Do it.
That
We got to do it.
I mean, we don't, but
We gotta
God,
do it.
I think we should just look on the last episode of that series. Anyway, man, that's a great way to. Yeah, the best way to end every like family friendly show is to end with everyone dying. Yeah,
Teaches them a valuable lesson.
yeah, yep. So we've kind of briefly talked about this, but I think this will be just kind of a short kind of thing. If new episodes were created for the series, like say there's a new Pirates of Dark Water, and it was at this level, would you watch it?
Yeah, I would. I mean, it wasn't unwatchable quality. It just wasn't as good as the first season quality. It was still, it was still something that I would sit down. I could probably sit through all the episodes all over again, except for that one. But yeah, I'd have no problem watching. I just want a damn ending.
Well, I think you got to play the Genesis game. I think has it.
There's
Yeah.
a Genesis game.
Yep. Yeah. What about you, Torpo?
So I already said earlier what I think it should be and how it should be done. But if it was at this level of quality, no. So like there's a certain irony to me saying I'm picky about what I watch, but I'm picky about what I watch, and I would never go out of my way to watch something like that. Like I'm not big on Hanna-Barbera stuff in general, but like at the quality of the later stuff, I definitely wouldn't go out of my way to see it or anything.
See, now that I'm thinking, because I'm just thinking now of modern Hanna-Barbera, and I definitely think that we wouldn't get anything like this. But now I'm just
To be fair,
imagining.
modern Hanna-Barbera is mostly just licensing out their fucking titles.
Yeah, because what I was thinking of is like, how would a WWE tie-in to Pirates of Dark Water be?
Finally, John Cena saves them from a boulder.
Yeah.
Oh god, now I'm just actually picturing them going through like a canyon, and then the boulders fall down, and John Cena just awkwardly jumps into frame, holding one of the boulders, and he gives a smile and a thumbs up.
As his theme plays. Okay, so say what you will, there's potential about high-end Hanna-Barbera properties. To date, I still say Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc. is fucking incredible.
Yeah, because now that I'm thinking about it, actually, I would actually be kind of curious to see what a new Pirates of Dark Water even would be.
It's Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc. is the single best thing to happen to Scooby-Doo, in my opinion. It was a 50-episode series, all one consistent plot line from start to end. It looked good, and it was just very enjoyable. The writing was really good. Also, the villains multiple times literally tried to kill the main characters.
I have to
Not
watch
just
it.
in this goofy Scooby-Doo way. No, they wanted them dead.
Huh.
I've only
it was-
watched like the really old one, so I'll have to check this one out.
They also managed to reference other mystery shows from Hanna-Barbera in a really beautiful way that I won't
I was,
spoil.
I was gonna say, is Harvey Birdman in the
It's
Hanna-Barbera
Hanna-Barbera.
thing?
It is,
Okay, that is
Yep.
okay. I couldn't remember what
which
like
is the other fucking amazing thing to come out of Hanna-Barbera.
yeah.
But that's because
That's only because of
fucking-
Harvey Birdman, attorney at law. Let's be real.
yeah, that's what
I
I mean.
mean,
Is Harvey Birdman?
yeah,
So,
that
also, so
yeah.
you say that, but there's also Birdman, the movie.
Okay, but
with,
that's
like,
with Michael
production
Keaton.
check.
That's Michael
Yeah,
Keaton. It has
but
nothing
it's
to
still-
do with.
Oh wait, I thought Birdman was a completely different thing.
Yeah, Birdman has nothing to do with the
No,
Hanna-Barbera
but
property.
regardless, the thing is, Harvey Birdman Attorney at Law was good in a completely different way, in that it was basically taking the piss out of the entire Hanna-Barbera collection and just deconstructing and all that.
The Flintstones is the mafia.
Yes.
And their episode like the thing is like, yes, we know that Scooby-Doo is they're just a bunch of stoners.
And the exterminator. Fucking
See, the problem is that my association with that is a different one that they did. Well, also Space Coast Coast to Coast was also great. The other one that I'm associated with is C Lab 2021.
Yes. Well, that's not Hanna-Barbera. That's
Wait, oh, is that?
no.
I-
C-Lab 2021
that's
was
the-
based off of an old educational cartoon called C-Lab 2020.
Okay, see, here's
Wasn't
there's
Lab 2020 Hanna-Barbera though?
I don't
I
think.
sworn it was, but see, that's the problem.
It's
also,
Hanna-Barbera, motherfucker.
Oh, it was. Okay.
I was gonna say because that's also the problem. Is I can't remember all what.
Yeah, like a
Hanna-Barbera
lot of
owns.
early Adult Swim was them just picking at the Hanna-Barbera catalog.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
learned
no.
something new today.
Yes, but yes, there could be a lot of weird things with.
My
There's
point
Dark
is, there's a
Water.
lot of potential to either play it straight, like Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc., which did it really well,
Yeah.
or even just take the piss out of it, which I feel like would be a disservice to this.
Yeah.
I would prefer them to be somewhat on point.
I'd
But,
like them to
like-
try to maintain the same tone that they had for the original cartoon
So
as best as they could for like a
what I
remake.
would love is something basically sort of like Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc., which is like 2 whole seasons of show, and then take those first 4 episodes from the original and give them some time to breathe by stretching them out a bit farther.
Yeah.
And have the focus always be like, have it be a consistent plot line that's always in focus, rather than just a bunch of like, oh, we fucking go off on our own and dick around and just shit happens.
Yeah, because what I'm actually wondering is, this would actually be a good way for Hanna-Barbera, because they might have done this already, and it's just something that's just one of my spots that I just don't really know of. This would be a good, because I know that, also I don't know if it's the trend. I don't think it would be the trend, but remember that trend of a lot of studios trying to have their American anime, like after Avatar kind of blew it up,
Mhm.
and that's like when Thundercats was a thing.
So the problem is the Thundercats one was legitimately good. It's just Cartoon Network sank it.
Yeah,
By doing the classic Cartoon Network method known as the time slot of death, where they
Yeah,
keep shuffling around the time slot of a show they want to get rid of, so viewership deliberately goes down and they have a reason to axe it. This also happened to Symbionic Titan when they got angry because Genndy Tartakovsky made a deal with Sony.
yeah. So I wonder if that is a thing that they could do with this. But yeah. I think that's probably a good enough discussion on Pirates of Dark Water, unless anyone has any other final points.
No, I still like it.
I really enjoyed the first season.
Okay. So let's go ahead and rank this. So we are going to rank this on our 1 to 21 scale, with 1 being absolute mastercraft and 21 being kind of don't even bother, just not even fun, ironically, to watch. So, Axe, what would you give this on a 1 to 21 scale?
It's tough because I do like it, but it's very clearly got some problems.
It's got that Hanna-Barbera jank to it, but it gets worse as it goes on, and it's frustrating.
I want to say, I want to say 9 or a 10 is
Okay.
where I would be at.
All right, Torpo.
So as I said, my issue is there's such a difference in quality between the later stuff and the first 5 episodes, and it's frustrating in a way that's hard to really put into words. And it keeps me from wanting to rank this what I feel the first season should deserve, just because there's such a stark contrast, in my opinion.
Well, actually, maybe that could be a thing that we should we do we feel like we've had enough? Because the thing is, we really haven't had enough exposure with. Well, actually, we kind of have with the non-first season. Should we break this apart into two things?
I feel the show should be judged on its merits as a whole.
Yeah, no, there's
Okay.
no reason to split it up like that.
Yeah.
How dare you do that to Area 88?
Well, technically, I did it to Teenage Mutant Turtle season 1, but nonetheless. Okay, so I guess
would say like probably, I guess 10 or 11.
Okay.
Yeah, I was actually expecting lower than that.
Yeah, so
That's what I mean. Is like the first season does so much to carry it in my mind.
So the thing is that because I just went ahead and put something down because I was kind of just thinking like where would I even put this? So I went broad for this one. My reasoning is that I just kind of looked like okay, what is my absolute ceiling and what is my like where I feel. Actually looking at it, I do kind of feel like I went too low with my floor. Because I was thinking somewhere in the range between 10 and 13. Because one, we don't have a 13. Two,
I will break you.
I would really like I didn't like thinking about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, would I rather watch this than that? And actually I kind of would. I feel like, especially with the first parts, I think that I could at least watch this. But yeah, now that I'm thinking about that movie, I feel like I would put this at least above that movie. So my range kind of goes from 10 to 11, which means that our overall range with Axe is 9 to 11. So we might as well just start by looking at 10. So in 10, we got Nickelodeon Guts and we got Wizardry. Honestly,
I'd say describe what's a 9 and 11 to give
right.
a better idea.
So in 9, we got Area 88, the OVA, and we have the live action Street Fighter movie. And in 11, we have Little Nemo, The Adventures of Slumberland, and Adventure of the Lola Penguin. I'm kind of more pointing like, because I'm trying to go from bottom up, I guess would be a way, because you got Little Nemo, Adventure of Slumberland, and Adventure of Lola the Penguin. Would I rather watch this than Adventure of Lola the Penguin? Probably. Little
Definitely.
Little Nemo, actually, that one I'd have to think about because honestly, now that I'm remembering that, I think that I had kind of the same issue with Little Nemo that I had with this, which was just the fact that I felt like there's more stuff happening in this than Little Nemo is a very, actually, almost in the same way. It is a very beautiful thing to look at, much like the first 5 seasons of this. There is something that you kind of want to watch about both. But if I had to pick between the two,
So I'm gonna say before you say that, probably Little Nemo, it is all style and no substance.
that is also the case. Whereas this, in some parts, actually has both.
Yeah, exactly. Like the first season, writing actually pretty decent. Pacing is ludicrous, but like the actual
Yeah, that
writing
was,
is solid.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was the
and
thing
then
about that first season is that it was going at like 7,000 miles per hour.
And then, of course, by second season, they slowed down a bit, and unfortunately, it fell apart because they kept on switching out writers, and so they didn't
just
have any
was directionless.
consistency.
It was very directionless.
Yeah, kind of like being on the open seas. It all makes sense.
Actually, if you're on the open seas, you generally have a direction, or else you're dead.
Or you just have fun and go wherever.
I don't think on the open seas you kind of have fun. You just kind of get marooned and die.
Yeah.
You know, fun.
in a certain way, I suppose. So yeah, I think that I would say that puts it at least 10. So we're kind of going between 9 and 10. Um, so yeah, in 10 we got Nickelodeon Guts and Wizardry, and then at 9 we have Area 88 OVA and live action Street Fighter. Um, Part of me actually said, like, the thing with 10 is also, to be fair, Wizardry is also, it was one of the first things that we watched, so I'm kind of trying to remember, but I remember really liking that in a weird way, for what, at least what it was. Um, and the Nickelodeon Guts is kind of the thing with that. It's like, I kind of actually like, especially with Nickelodeon. I think Nickelodeon Guts is kind of anchoring my decision because I kind of would rather watch this than Nickelodeon Guts.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, same.
So that
But
I
9
add
is the absolute highest I will go.
is 10.
9.
Oh, 9. Oh yeah, 9 is exactly is absolutely as high as I would go because I mean just straight up Digimon the movie and the first season of the Ninja Turtles, I would absolutely watch both of those before this. But yeah, when you're talking about stuff like Area 88 OVA and like the live action Street Fighter movie, I could see both of those being kind of in the same category as this. Because both of those have things that definitely have kind of asterisks next to them, is that you could really like these things, unless you hit that asterisk, and yeah, I can see you not liking it. So I think that kind of puts it at 9. Unless anyone else has any final thoughts.
No.
Nope.
Nope, that's
That sounds good to
perfectly
me.
fine.
All right. So 9, the Pirates Water. This is episode 46, I believe. This originally came out 1990.
How's it
Right.
almost been a year of this?
Oh, 91 to 93. So I guess I'll just put 91.
Was it 93?
That's
It
what
was
Wikipedia's
90. It
saying.
was 92. I
Oh,
thought
wait, was it 93 or is my
it was
eyes just
91
might
and
be
92.
Yeah, it was mostly. Oh wait, that's. Huh.
I was saying Wikipedia is saying
Okay,
93.
so that's the weird thing. Initially the first 13 episodes are all 91. Then there are 4 episodes in 92 and 4 episodes in 93, which is really weird.
Huh.
Okay.
I'll say 91 just to be
Yeah.
safe.
Because there is a massive gap of 11 months between 13 and 14.
Created by David Krishner. This was a TV. I don't know if I really want to say kids.
Fantasy.
Yeah, fantasy.
Okay, the first season consisting of 13 episodes aired on ABC. The second season consisting of the last 8 episodes aired in first-run syndication as part of the Fantastic World of Hanna-Barbera.
Okay, and then
Only 8 treasures were collected of the 13.
So bullshit.
and then theme. I don't have pirates.
Adventure.
Yeah, actually, I could do Adventure Ho.
It is 100% Adventure Ho.
Yep. Let's see. I don't think we need any content warnings. And let's see. Is there anything you want to call out in music, charm, cinematography, storytelling, action, and art? I kind of feel that at least we should put the thumbs up in art.
For the first 5 seasons, yeah. Or first 5 episodes. See, I'm
would
doing
think-
it too.
The thing was, because I don't have a way to divide it, I would at least give it thumbs up for the thing period, because I still think the designs are pretty interesting, even if they weren't drawn particularly well. So I just would feel really weird about not giving it the thumbs up for art.
And I think it has its charms. Overall, I think it's a fairly charming show.
I could give that.
Yeah.
Cinematography I wouldn't give, action I wouldn't give, and storytelling I definitely wouldn't give. And music was there.
It
was okay.
existed, and that's the kindest thing I can say about it.
So for yay or nay, one thing I want to say about nay in a very off way, length,
Yeah.
is because it's not finished. They ran out of track.
Very sad.
Yeah.
It is
Uh,
also simultaneously too fast and too slow, and it's
Uh,
impressive.
Yeah, actually, I think the pace is also the other one that I'd give. The other thing, um, actually, let me check my charms real quick. Oh, do. If I look at this, there is actually, well, maybe not. You know what? I think that's probably good for that then. Because I was thinking of like a wasted potential thing I did, or I would feel. Um, or actually, I'm going to actually put this in the content because I think it's something, or actually, no, I'm going to put in the name because that's how I do the other retro rank things. I am going to give it, I got to find it real quick. I am going to give it the under construction sign because was not finished.
Yeah.
hmm
So I think that that is pretty good for the Pirates of Dark Water. Um, so yeah. Did anyone else have any last things they want to say?
No, just give me a goddamn ending to the show.
Gotta play that Genesis game.
Ah!
Or you can watch a long play of the Genesis game rather.
Yeah, I can do that.
So yeah, that is going to do it for the Pirates of Dark Water. So before we go, Axe, is there anything you want to plug?
Nope.
Okay. Turbo.
I would.
You'll get there.
Twitch.tv/Torpid and at Torpid Typist on Twitter, and I would like to plug the gaping holes in our budget.
Yes. Okay. So, with that, due to some basically kind of didn't realize it, but technically, we are heading into October, and uh, on a complete coincidence, next week is going to start our horror movie starting to look at. So this next upcoming week, we will be taking a look at actually. Oh, not quite yet. I was gonna say actually this is gonna be released in October, but it's not. It's gonna be released at the very end of September. Nonetheless, we are taking a look at Sweet Home.
Yes.
So that'll be plenty interesting.
Please, I'll need a good movie that month.
Yeah. Yes. So we'll be taking a look at Sweet Home, which will be
Because,
pretty interesting. I have seen the movie before in a way, but I have not really seen.
I've seen it a couple times. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Just
been a
come
while
that
since I've
month.
seen it.
I'm gonna have to drudge through so much garbage.
Nonetheless, that'll do it for this week. So, thank you all for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
If you would like to look at the full list of rankings for yourself, please visit r3.ldp.life and go to the Media Delta List tab. If you would like to watch Media Delta's sister show, Retro Rank Rhapsody, you can either watch at youtube.ldp.life or by tuning into twitch.tv/LoadPuzzlo at 7:30 p.m. on Fridays, 2:30 p.m. on Saturdays, and 1 p.m. on Sundays. All those times are from the Eastern US time zone. If you would like to discuss this episode with the community, you can do so by joining our Discord server, which you can do so by going to discord.ldp.life. Thank you again for listening, and I hope you tune in for our next episode.